Stop negotiating with your weakness. Every single day you wake up, there's a voice inside you that's ready to make excuses. It's ready to tell you you're too tired, too busy, too broke, too late. It's ready to bargain with you, offering comfort in exchange for your dreams. And you've been accepting that deal for far too long. You keep telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, I'll do better next week, I'll give more when I feel ready. But here's the truth, that weakness will never stop asking for a discount on your effort. It will always try to convince you that it's okay to give less than your best, and every time you accept that deal, you're selling a piece of your future for temporary comfort. Think about it. You've got goals, you've got visions, you've got things you've told yourself you were going to accomplish. But the reason you're not there yet isn't because you're not talented enough, not because you don't have opportunities, not because the world is unfair. It's because you keep making room for the part of you that doesn't want to do the work. You've allowed that part to have a seat at the table. You've let it negotiate your schedule, your effort, your level of commitment, and the dangerous thing about that is weakness never negotiates in your favor. It's not trying to help you, it's trying to keep you average. You've got to stop having conversations with your weakness like it's your friend. Weakness is not on your side. It's not there to protect you, it's there to paralyze you. It disguises itself as rest, as taking it easy, as being realistic. But really, it's just fear with a mask on. You've got to learn how to hang up the phone when weakness calls. You've got to shut the door when it knocks. The moment you start reasoning with it, you've already lost half the battle. Some of you are living at 50% of your potential because every time you feel resistance, you step back. Every time it gets uncomfortable, you quit negotiating with your future and start negotiating with your feeling. You let your emotions be the decision makers instead of your principles, and that's why you keep starting and stopping. That's why you keep getting inspired for a week and then falling back into old patterns. Because you think you can out-talk your weakness instead of outwork it. You can't argue with it. You have to kill it with action. When you wake up in the morning, there are two voices fighting for control. One is telling you to hit the snooze button, to slow down, to take it easy. The other is telling you to get up, get after it, and push yourself. Whichever voice you listen to is the one that grows stronger, and too many of you have been feeding your weakness every day. You've been giving it power, giving it energy, giving it space in your life. And then you wonder why you're not seeing progress. You can't feed weakness and expect strength to grow. It's time to raise the standard for yourself. Stop allowing the bare minimum to be enough. Stop settling for good enough when you know you've got greatness in you. The version of you that's going to break every limit isn't the version that makes deals with comfort. It's the version that does what needs to be done no matter how you feel. It's the version that shows up when you're tired, when you're broke, when you're not motivated. It's the version that understands discipline is worth more than motivation. Motivation might get you moving today, but discipline will keep you moving for the next 10 years. There's a war going on inside you every day, and the side you feed is the side that wins. If you keep giving in to your weakness, you're building a habit of quitting. And quitting becomes easier the more you do it. But if you start saying no to that weakness, even in small moments, you're building resilience. You're training yourself to keep going when it's hard, to keep pushing when you want to stop. And that's how limits get broken. Not by talking about them, not by wishing they'd disappear, but by refusing to give weakness a single inch of ground. Some of you have been carrying the same excuse for years. You've been letting the same limitation define you. You've been telling the same story about why you can't, and it's time to retire that story. Every time you replay it, you're reinforcing the chains that hold you. You've got to be willing to let that story die so the new version of you can live. Weakness will try to remind you of your past failures, of the times you tried and didn't make it, of all the people who doubted you. But that's its game. It wants you to believe that your past is a preview of your future. It wants you to think that because you fell before, you'll fall again. But the truth is, the only reason you'll fall again is if you keep giving weakness the power to decide how far you go. You can't be casual about this. You can't just hope to break limits. You've got to be intentional about killing the part of you that keeps you small. Every time you feel that pull to slow down, to take the easy road, to give less than you can give, you've got to recognize it for what it is. Weakness trying to make another deal. And when you see it, you've got to reject it without hesitation. You can't pause, you can't think about it, you can't weigh the pros and cons, you've just got to move, because here's the reality, the version of you that's going to change your life forever isn't negotiating with weakness anymore. That version of you is too busy showing up, too busy grinding, too busy building, too busy becoming unstoppable to even hear that voice. And the day you decide to stop negotiating with your weakness is the day you start building that version of yourself. Pain is the passport to growth. Everybody wants to level up, everybody wants to get stronger, smarter, more successful, but nobody wants to go through the process that makes it happen. You think success is built on comfort. You think the people at the top got there by staying in warm, safe places where nothing challenged them. No, every break through you see, every achievement that inspires you is stamped with the ink of pain. That pain wasn't an accident. It was the entry fee, and the reason so many people never see what they're capable of is because they refuse to pay it. The truth is, pain isn't there to destroy you, it's there to develop you. It's not your enemy, it's your teacher. Every hard season you've been through, every loss, every rejection, every sleepless night, it's been preparing you for the strength you're going to need to carry your dream. But here's the problem. You keep running from it. The moment it gets uncomfortable, you quit. The second you feel pressure, you back up. And then you wonder why you're still in the same place year after year. Pain has a purpose. It reveals what you're made of. When everything's going smooth, you don't really know yourself. You don't know your limits. You don't know your resilience. You don't know your fight. But when life hits you in the mouth, when everything you planned falls apart, when nothing goes the way you thought it would, that's when you find out who you are, and you either let that pain bury you or you let it build you. Every time you run from pain, you're running from the version of you that's unstoppable. You're running from the grit, the discipline, the focus you claim you want. And if you're honest, you've been avoiding that process for a long time. You've been trying to find shortcuts, easy routes, ways to skip the hard parts. But skipping the hard parts means skipping the transformation. You can't bypass the process and still expect the product. You've got to stop looking at pain like a sign to stop. Pain is not always a no. Sometimes it's a keep going. Sometimes it's life's way of saying, you're getting closer. You've been lifting the same weight, running the same distance, doing the same safe moves because you don't want it to hurt more. But growth lives in the extra rep. Growth lives in the mile after your legs are screaming. Growth lives in the moment you want to quit, but you push one more time. The most powerful version of you is on the other side of the pain you've been avoiding. That fear of failure, you've got to walk straight into it. That heartbreak you haven't healed from, you've got to let it teach you strength. That financial struggle that's breaking you, you've got to let it show you resourcefulness. Pain is the training ground for greatness, and you can't fake your way through it. You've got to feel it, face it, and finish it. The reason most people never reach their potential isn't because they can't handle pain, it's because they don't stay in it long enough to get the reward. You quit in the middle of the process and then tell yourself it just wasn't meant to be. But what if you were just 3 steps away from the breakthrough? What if that moment you walked away was the moment right before everything was about to change? You'll never know if you keep tapping out early. You need to start seeing pain differently. Stop asking, how do I avoid it? And start asking, what is it trying to teach me? Because the lessons you learn in comfort are nothing compared to the lessons you learn in the fire. In the fire, you learn discipline. In the fire, you learn patience. In the fire, you learn exactly how much you can endure. And you always find out you can endure more than you thought. You've been praying for strength, for wisdom, for a new level, but when the pain comes to deliver it, you reject it. You think pain is punishment, when in reality, it's preparation. It's shaping your character, sharpening your mind, and building the muscle you're going to need for the weight of your calling. Without that preparation, the blessing would crush you. Without that process, the success would overwhelm you. Every champion you admire has scars. They've been knocked down, counted out, doubted, and tested. The difference is they didn't let the pain chase them away. They let it push them deeper. They embraced it because they understood the truth. You can't have the crown without the cross. You can't have the breakthrough without the breakdown. You can't have the glory without the grind. You're going to face pain whether you choose to grow or not. Life will hand it to you either way. But if you're going to go through it, you might as well come out stronger. You might as well decide that every hit you take is going to move you closer to your goal. You might as well decide that no matter how much it hurts, you're going to keep moving forward because pain is the passport and growth is the destination. Your mind is your real prison. You think it's the world holding you back. You think it's other people, your circumstances, your lack of resources. But the truth is, the biggest walls around you are the ones you've built in your own head. You've created a ceiling and convinced yourself it's the sky. You've told yourself stories about what you can and can't do, and now you're living inside those stories like they're unbreakable laws. But those limits aren't real. They're mental chains, and as long as you keep believing them, you'll never see what's possible. Every time you say, "I can't," you're adding another lock to your cell. Every time you talk yourself out of taking a chance, you're tightening the chains. And here's the wild part. Nobody else has to hold you back because you're already doing it to yourself. You've been conditioned by fear, by failure, by the opinions of people who gave up on their own dreams, and now you're letting their voices control your moves. You've let the possibility of failure become more powerful than the possibility of success. You've got to understand something. Your mind is the command center for your life. If you convince it you're trapped, it will shut down every door of opportunity before you even try to open it. If you convince it you're not good enough, it will make sure you never attempt the things that would prove you are. Most people never step into their greatness because they never learn how to reprogram the thoughts that keep them small. You weren't born with limits. You were born curious, fearless, ready to explore, ready to try. Somewhere along the way, the world taught you to doubt yourself. Somewhere along the way, you started protecting yourself from pain by lowering your expectations. And now that protective wall has turned into a prison cell, you tell yourself you're being realistic, but really you're just keeping yourself safe from the possibility of growth, and the mind loves safety. It will trick you into thinking that comfort is success. It will whisper, "Don't risk it, don't try it, it might not work." But that's how dreams die, not because you can't reach them, but because you keep choosing the walls over the open road. You keep telling yourself you'll try when you're ready, but you never will be if you don't step outside that prison. The key to breaking out isn't motivation, it's belief. You've got to believe there's more for you before you see it. You've got to believe you're capable before you feel ready. That belief will force you to test the bars of your prison, to realize they were never locked in the first place. Because the truth is, the doors have been open the whole time. You just never pushed. Every time you challenge your own thoughts, you weaken the walls. Every time you take action in the face of fear, you chip away at the chains. You've been letting your mind run the show, but now it's time to take control. It's time to decide that the voice telling you you can't is a liar. It's time to feed the voice that says, "Watch me." You have to start imagining yourself beyond your current reality. Picture the life you want so vividly that your mind starts to accept it as possible. Because once your mind accepts it, your actions will follow. That's how you shift from being a prisoner to being free. You rewrite the script in your head until the old one doesn't fit anymore. The world outside your mind is massive, full of opportunity, full of chances to grow, to learn, to win. But you'll never see it if you keep staring at the same four walls you've built for yourself. You've got to tear them down brick by brick, thought by thought, decision by decision. The only prison that can hold you is the one you refuse to leave. Discipline is the bridge between now and greatness. Everybody talks about dreams. Everybody loves to feel motivated. But discipline is what actually builds the road that gets you there. You can watch all the motivational videos, read all the books, have the most detailed vision board in the world, but if you can't show up and put in the work when it's boring, when it's hard, when nobody's watching, you'll stay exactly where you are. Discipline is the separating factor between the ones who wish and the ones who win. Motivation is an emotional spark. It feels amazing when it's there, but it fades. Some days you wake up ready to conquer the world, and other days you wake up feeling like you have nothing left. If you depend on motivation, your progress will be inconsistent because your feelings are inconsistent. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline is a commitment to action regardless of emotion. It's the agreement you make with yourself that says, I'm going to show up no matter what. The problem is, most people treat discipline like an option instead of a requirement. They tell themselves they'll work hard when they feel ready, or when the timing is perfect, or when the conditions are better. But those perfect conditions never come. That's why they never get there, because they're waiting for a mood instead of building a habit. Discipline is about doing the work even when you're tired, even when you've got distractions, even when it feels like you're not making progress. It's understanding that success is not the result of one massive push. It's the sum of 1,000 small actions done with consistency. It's doing the reps when nobody's clapping. It's writing the pages when nobody's reading. It's running the miles when nobody's watching. The reason discipline matters so much is because it compounds. One disciplined day turns into a week turns into a month turns into a year, and over time, the gap between you and the person who isn't disciplined becomes a canyon. They're still talking about what they're going to do. You're already living it. And here's the truth. You're not always going to feel like it. You're not always going to feel inspired. That's not the point. The point is to act in spite of that. The point is to train yourself to push through resistance until it's automatic. You don't wait to feel thirsty before you drink water. You don't wait until your house is on fire to buy a fire extinguisher. You prepare in advance. Discipline is that preparation for your future. It's you building the habits today that your future self will thank you for. The danger of living without discipline is that life will make the choice for you. If you don't control your habits will control you. If you don't choose your priorities, distractions will choose them for you. And if you don't decide to show up daily for your goals, you'll wake up one day realizing you traded your potential for comfort. Some of you have been stuck in the same place for years, not because you're not capable, but because you haven't been consistent long enough to see results. You start strong, but the moment it gets repetitive or uncomfortable, you slow down. You think you need something new, some fresh inspiration, but what you really need is to keep doing the thing you've been avoiding every day. Discipline isn't glamorous, it doesn't give you fireworks, but it builds a foundation so solid that no setback, no rejection, no failure can break it. And once you have that, you're unstoppable. You don't rise and fall with your feelings, you rise because your habits lift you. The bridge between the life you have and the life you want is built one disciplined step at a time. Every day you choose to cross it, you get closer to the version of you that doesn't just talk about greatness but lives it. And the only way you fall short is if you stop walking. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Too many people are standing still in life because they're waiting for the stars to align, for every obstacle to disappear, for the exact right moment to finally take action. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more time, I'll go after it when I have more money, I'll commit when I feel ready, and that moment never comes. Life isn't going to clear the road for you. It's going to throw roadblocks in your way and dare you to move anyway. Perfect conditions are a myth. There's no such thing as the perfect time to start a business, to change your life, to chase your dream. If you wait until everything feels safe, you'll be waiting forever. The reality is, you're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to feel the fear, the uncertainty, the discomfort, and move anyway. That's what separates the people who talk about change from the people who make it happen. Some of you are addicted to preparation. You've been getting ready for years. You've researched, you've taken notes, you've planned everything down to the smallest detail, but you still haven't taken the first step. And deep down, it's not because you need more information. It's because you're scared of failing. But here's the truth. You're not avoiding failure, you're just delaying it. And in delaying it, you're also delaying the success that could come from learning, adjusting, and trying again. You've got to understand that action creates clarity. You don't need all the answers before you start. You figure them out along the way. You don't need a perfect plan. You need the courage to take the first step with the plan you have. And when things go wrong, and they will, you adjust. That's how progress works. Waiting for the perfect conditions is like waiting for the ocean to be completely calm before learning how to swim. By the time it happens, you'll have missed your chance. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history came in the middle of chaos. People built empires during recessions, launched careers during crises, made life-changing decisions when everything around them said it was the wrong time. Why? Because they understood that opportunity is rarely wrapped in a comfortable package. Most of the time, it's hidden in challenges that scare everyone else away. The conditions you're in right now are not an excuse. They're your training ground. If you can make moves with limited resources, you'll be unstoppable when you have more. If you can build something in the middle of uncertainty, you'll dominate when stability comes. Every delay you justify is just another day you give away. And here's the part nobody wants to hear. Waiting feels safe, but it's actually the most dangerous thing you can do. While you're waiting for the right time, someone else is out there making progress in the wrong time. While you're hesitating, someone else is learning from their mistakes. While you're preparing for the perfect launch, someone else is already in motion, building momentum you can't catch up to. You think time is your friend, but when you waste it, it becomes your enemy. Every year you wait is a year you could have been growing, improving, and getting closer to your goals. And the worst part is, you'll convince yourself that you're just being smart, that you're just making sure everything is lined up, when really you're just avoiding the risk that comes with moving forward. There is no perfect condition. There is only now. Now is messy, now is unpredictable, now is uncomfortable. But now is all you have. The people who win in life aren't the ones who had the best timing. They're the ones who refuse to let timing stop them. You don't need everything to be lined up. You need to line yourself up with action. You need to move even when the path isn't clear, because clarity is something you create, not something you wait for. Turn every no into fuel. Every time someone tells you you can't do it, every time you get rejected, every time life slams a door in your face, that's not the end of the story. That's an opportunity to dig deeper, to burn hotter, to push harder than you ever have before. Most people hear no and take it as a sign to quit. They treat rejection like a dead end. But the people who break limits, the people who rewrite the rules, are the ones who take that no and turn it into energy. The truth is, no is inevitable. You're going to hear it more times than you can count. People will doubt you, they'll criticize you, they'll underestimate you. Sometimes they'll do it out loud. Sometimes it'll be in the way they ignore you or the way they treat you like you're not capable. And if you're not careful, you'll let those no's sink into your heart and convince you to stop trying. But you've got to decide right now that every no you hear is going to make you hungrier. You've got to let it spark something inside you that says, watch me. Every champion has a list of no's in their past. They were told they weren't good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. They were told their dreams were too big, their ideas were unrealistic, their goals were impossible. And instead of believing it, they used it. They let it become the reason they showed up earlier, stayed later, pushed harder. They turned rejection into momentum. When you hear no, you've got a choice. You can let it be a wall, or you can let it be a fire. A wall stops you, a fire fuels you. The difference is how you respond. You can get bitter, or you can get better. You can complain about being underestimated, or you can work so hard that underestimating you becomes impossible. Some of you are sitting on dreams you haven't chased because of a no you heard years ago. Someone told you you didn't have what it takes, and you let that one sentence hold you hostage. You've replayed it in your head so many times that it's become your truth. But no only has power if you give it power. The moment you decide to strip it of its meaning and replace it with determination, it loses control over you. You have to start using no as proof that you're on the right track. If you're not getting rejected, you're probably not aiming high enough. If you're not being doubted, you're probably not challenging yourself. No means you're in the arena. It means you're trying. It means you're in the game while everyone else is sitting on the sidelines playing it safe. And here's the thing. People aren't always going to see your vision. They don't have to. It's not their dream to understand. They'll say no, because they're looking through the lens of their own fears and limitations, not yours. If you let that stop you, you're living their life, not yours. But if you let it fuel you, you take control. You become unstoppable because nothing anyone says can take away the fire you've built inside. Every time you hear no, let it push you forward instead of knocking you back. Let it sharpen your skills, tighten your focus, and strengthen your resolve. Collect those no's like trophies because each one is proof that you didn't stop. Each one is a reminder that you kept going when others would have quit. And one day, when you're standing on the other side of every limit they said you couldn't break, you'll look back at those no's and realize they were never meant to end your story. They were meant to light it.